Good night, good night, good night, good night, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to you, wherever it is that you are joining us from. Welcome to Track and Feel Talk Net, where we will be having another great conversation. Welcome, whether you're joining us from your car, whether you're joining us from your living room, whether you're joining us from your office, we are grateful to have you. Good night to all the families, wherever it is that you are. We are happy to have you here with us. Please remember to like, share, and to subscribe to all our social media channels so that you don't miss a thing when we go live. Tonight, definitely, we'll be having another steaming conversation, another steaming talk with another great, great, great athlete. So, definitely, we are happy that you are a part of our family and that you are a part of us tonight. We welcome you as you come along. Please remember, do not keep this all to yourself, but instead go right ahead and tell someone about it. Tell someone that we are indeed live. Tell someone that we are indeed here to have the conversation, the track and feel conversation, the conversation that we always enjoy having. We are happy that you are here. Please remember to say hello so that we can take your register to know that you are indeed here and with us as the family, because you know that we are having a conversation. So come on in, come on in, come on in, and let us have that talk. Let us all do this the right way, which is joining us live here on Track and Field Talk Net, where we talk about everything track and field, no matter where it is happening. Good night, Zavian. How are you doing tonight?
I am doing fabulous.
I'm not hearing you, Zavian.
I'm doing fabulous. Are you hearing me now?
Yes, I am. You are doing fabulous. You are indeed looking
Yeah.
fabulous. So it
I,
is great to
I,
have you
I,
also.
I have to dress up for for the persons who admire me on a Monday night. I'm my fans. I have fans now, and I have followers. So we have to start bring it to the show. And then when you're bringing on somebody that is green and black, I have to show up the purple and white. So we have to compete. So I make sure I dress the part so that him don't outdo me. So
We said tonight is the purple and white versus the green and black.
not really,
I,
but after just the part, we have to show up to the show.
you have to show up to show. Not a problem, not a problem. Everyone, as you come on in, please remember to share the live so that someone else can know that we are live and so that others can come on in and let us have the conversation. As David said, tonight we have here a great conversation up for discussion. And as we definitely have seen, we have seen where persons have already sent in some questions, pre-sent their questions that they would like to ask or great guest. So definitely we will be doing so accordingly tonight, because it is indeed about track and field and nothing else but that, definitely about track and field. So Zevian, how are you feeling about tonight and what is to happen? Can you share
Guess what?
how are you feeling about it?
Guess what, viewers? We start the analogies that we started. We we dig the foundation. We lay a few blocks, and we put in the work. We're not even gonna try to speak in English. We put in the work. We mix the mortar, and tonight we are lay the steel in our foundation. We are lay tonight in our foundation time. We see how the mortar mix, and we are lay the steel, and then we are gonna see how it put together.
Tonight
So
we are gonna do that.
yes,
Definitely tonight we're doing that.
without that part here, you don't really get the structure firm and strong, So you have to put in a part here. We couldn't leave him out. Got a
Definitely.
part here, part
Welcome,
of the
welcome,
structure.
HP. Welcome, 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 HP. HP early tonight. Me know why you're early. It's early tonight, HP, very
HP, me
early.
jealous, me jealous, You see why me dress up? Because
HP
every
very
time
early tonight, man. Good evening, Sheldon, my dearest. How are you doing? So we can just jump right into it. You know what I mean? So tonight, family, we are joined with none other than one of our great guest, our great Olympian, and that is Mr. Dwight Bigger Thomas. You know what I mean? I realize that the bigger and the big things them follow the green and black people.
Yes, just once I don't wear purple, we on the same page. You know.
I wear purple.
Zavian.
I wear purple though.
Once you text me that purple, we're good.
But purple
good,
looks
right?
great on you doing now. I'm just saying, purple looks great on you.
The good thing about it.
All right, outside of boys champs, we wear purple. Outside of those couple days of the week for boys champs and girls champs, then I'll probably wear purple.
Okay, outside of that, you'll wear the purple. I think purple look good on you. I think it is one of the reasons why, it's a purple, outfit that was chosen and not a green one.
Green and black forever, man. No, green and black forever.
No green one. I know you're rubber like you're, as HP said, 6-1 Red Hills Road runs great in your blood. But we people, even though I didn't go to the North Street, but in my brother's school, I went to the St. High School. So the purple and white runs very deep into my blood also.
Yes.
Right, Sheldon? We are purple and white. Sheldon and I is purple. Zavian is purple. So HP, you can stay with your little green and black. You and Dwight.
It's a funny story. My neighbor was the vice principal of Calabar.
Yeah.
And when I got transferred from Titchfield, I got into Calabar, I got into KC, and I got into JC. And
but you had to do the purple.
No, my father wear tie every day. I just admire the tie story.
Oh.
So you just always want to put on the tie. So not bad. Apart from the rivals during championships, and I may be one of the few that said, if they won, I know you are favorite going in, I'll give you the kudos. I won't even behave like there's a Hail Mary out there that we can't win champs. We just can't. We just gotta have some fun and look for some particular race and just call it a day. So Latoya start the ball rolling. So I look for some particular race and just call it a day.
Probably they can stay with a little green and black.
So we're having an echo, Latoya.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Right. Purple and white all day. Sheldon and I will stay friends and great. Purple and white.
So Dwight, tell me, how many times have you won champs? Let us start there.
One time. I mean, individually as team.
Team,
Team title one.
Been a part of
title 1 and 2 seconds.
Okay.
No,
and 2 seconds.
2 seconds, yeah.
Okay.
The other ones do not really count. The third not counts. And I go with the 1 time we won and then 2 seconds.
Okay.
2 seconds.
But the second that we got, we could have won, but someone got injured and we lost a lot of points. So I don't want to make up excuses, but Rye Bailey did get hurt, and he would have gave us probably at least, between himself, probably at least 20 points, and we'd have won boys champs that year. Jamaica College won.
Okay.
Okay.
You see, when I was at boys champs, KC wasn't so strong. So even though they have all this big strong team, but during my time, it was between Calabar and Jamaica College, and Kingston College was top 3, but Jamaica College was very strong at that time. I remember they had a really good team throughout the years at that time when I was at Calabar.
KC just bring the fun.
KC, they just bring the fun. Them always in that corner with them always at the finish line. Them always on the camera, so they have to be at the finish line where everybody runs through the line, So they always want that area right there. But they always know the purple and white always right there. Calabar always on the back stretch, Jamaica College on the back stretch, and some part in the grandstand. So but KC always have the designated area right by the finish line.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. That's. I just.
Yeah, because KC section is right there. The night.
Always. I mean, look. What KC. What I look at what KC did the past couple of years. They're not only having athletes that's winning boys champs, but they're having athletes that's actually making the national team. They have Olympic gold medalists. Amar McLeod and all of these different athletes.
And attachment. The earners them.
And then Hibbert, as we know as well, is a world junior world record holder. So Casey start put on the mantle as of lately, and you have to give props where props is concerned, or you have to give credit where credit is concerned. Them doing a fantastic job, and a part of the coaching staff too as well, and the
I,
management team.
I was about to ask you what's the big difference in then and now,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The
and
coaching staff.
The coaching
and
staff.
people might have said that people might have the notion that this era of youngsters are not that dieted and don't have that heart,
Yeah,
but then it
yeah,
must be something that the coaching staff is doing different,
yes. It's
because
the
you have to put
coaching
a lot in the mix.
and then people and then after like I don't like talk so much about Casey versus Calabar, but I also like how Casey have a very strong traditional background with the old boys. They contribute a lot to the team and to the school, and that goes a far way of making the team better too as well. Whether it could be buying new equipment or sending new gym equipment, where they put on a new track, a synthetic track, and they pour a lot more, I mean, monetary funding in the program. So that helped as well. At one point, I think I heard the team was training somewhere during COVID. The travel and was still training just in case boys and girls champ was going to happen during the COVID era. So they fully invested. The old
Carefully
boys are
invested.
fully invested behind the team. So that too have a lot to do with it. Yes.
Okay. So thank you for that part of that early part of the discussion.
Yeah.
Also want to welcome our other admin, Mr. Cummings, Kino, Cummings,
Yes.
Mr. Olympian, Star Boy.
Yes.
Star Boy, not star over here. Right? And so Dwight, I know we just started with the whole Casey Calabar thing, but
Yes.
tell me a little about Dwight as a boy. Like, where in Jamaica are you originally from? How that all started, where we were raised and stuff like that.
Well, I'm originally from Kingston, but I grew up in Waterford in Portmore. I went to Waterford High School, and that's where running started for me. Actually, I have an older brother that went to Calabar that I used to admire running track, and that's how I got into track, because he used to run for Calabar several years before I went to Calabar, and then I was like, you run track? Yeah, let me run track, because I wanted to play football. Football was kind of my passion, to be honest. Yeah, but then somehow track kind of supersede the football thing. I never was a general, them call it, so it never really worked out for me. So I kind of like start. Yeah, I wasn't a baller, so it just stick with the track, and then we go Waterford primary, we go Waterford, more primary champs, we won primary champs and thing. And then I remember Jamaica College, I remember Micah Clarke. It's so funny, me and Sekou Clarke we're like partners now, but I know his dad when I was going to Waterford primary, he tried to recruit me to go to JC and then Calabar and a few other schools too. And it's so funny, I have a twin brother. So my twin, this is a funny story, is going to come back to Zavian. My twin actually passed a Casey. And my twin actually
A mistake and send you go school one day, right?
He actually passed the Casey and he transferred to Calabar. Yeah, he transferred to Calabar. Yeah. So it's so funny. Pastor Casey, I remember when I started the first day of school, him still was in a limbo, like getting in the Calabar and the whole transfer thing did work out. Then he started Calabar with me. Yeah. So because I have an older brother went to Calabar, I want to like keep the blood and the family line going to Rabalak at Red Hills Road. So that's how we kind of like choose to go to Calabar. But for me, growing up, I grew up in Portmore. I'm from Portmore. Twin and me grew up in Portmore. We both run for Waterford primary. That's where track and field started for me. And then I started to get success when I get into like 5th and 6th grade. I won primary champs. And from that, I remember even Stephen Francis came to my house, sit on my veranda, and was kind of persuading my mother to send me to Wolmer's. Yes, so that's how far I could say I know Stephen.
So you were well sought off.
Yes, like
someone wanted to go to Wolmer's. Someone wanted to go to
Wolmer's. And like to this day, like this is a story I'll share with like Stephen Francis. He was the first coach to ever give me a spikes. When I was going to Waterford primary, we run barefooted, like on the chevron and chevron hot, so you have to go on the grass until your race run. And I was at Parish Champs, and him say, I'm the spikes. I'm say, he might recruit me at the time, And him say, I'm say, no, really running a spikes, I really have no spikes, And he got me a spikes. When I guess he went in his car and get the spikes and bring it come.
Man, plan
So
for you.
yeah, and for some reason just have the spikes and him have my size to fit. I'm running out of spikes. So,
Oh,
yeah,
Jesus.
yeah, and like
You
me.
still never go to Calabar. You still never go to Woolmaz, I mean.
And,
The funny thing, time change. Me that carry the BMW key now.
Time change now, right? Yeah, bigger thing now. Yeah, bigger thing now. But actually, I did like Woolmaz, I was like this close to like going to Woolmaz. No, I did like Woolmaz. But I don't know, it just ended up being a Calabar, So, but I can't change anything. I love the fact that I went to Calabar, yeah.
Well, we know that. We have seen that you love the fact that you went to Calabar. Before we continue, someone in the chat, Dwayne Larmond is saying, rest in peace to your coach. I guess he's your first coach or somewhere along that line, Mr. Jones, Linford Jones.
Yes, Lynn. So a lot of people like Lynn was my primary school coach at Waterford Primary. So Lynn did a great job developing me as a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old till I went to Calabar. And then while I'm at Calabar, Lynn used to follow my career the same way I would see him at Gibson Relay. I still was with Waterford Primary at the time. I would talk and everything. And when I transitioned away from Jamaica, I moved to the States. I think that's when he got ill and he passed away and everything. So rest in peace. God bless his soul. But if it wasn't for Lynn was like a major part of my career in the early stage, like 11-year-old, 10-year-old, 12-year-old, when I was in Waterford Primary. So yes, Lynn, and another one to Marcus. Like I remember them distinctively. Marcus was Lynn's assistant at Waterford Primary. So Marcus and Lynn work in hand to hand, and they kind of like helped develop my talent, my twin brother, and the whole team. And we won primary champs too with Lynn. So Waterford Primary was very good, and we ended up winning primary champs when we was when Lynn was the coach. So that question I could tell him my condolences for Lynn, and he passed away many years ago. But of course, yes, vital part for my career in the early stage.
Okay, that's good. Nice. See, our family knows our guests, knows our Olympians.
They know.
They know more than they
kind
know.
of bring you out and bring your memories as we go along. Kino, you have anything to say, sir?
No, good night, everybody. Good night. Hope
Kino.
you're hearing me.
Yes.
I'm just taking in everything that Dwight is saying, because there are so many times when athletes, they get big, they get to the highest peak of their career, and they don't remember the coaches from the grassroots. I'm glad you spoke about Waterford Primary, because I used to coach in the primary system as well, and we got many beatings from coach from them and the coaching system in that school. So I'm happy that you mentioned that. But tell us about what you're doing now. I mean, I know we're going to get into more of that, because it's something that I'm really interested in. But how is Dwight, doing right now?
So for me right now, like I have a few different endeavors going on. So guys, I work with Clarke, who's one of my partners. And Actors Global Management. So it's also a marketing and a management team. So we manage professional track and field athlete. I could name a few, like Sidney McLaughlin, who's like the world record holder, right? An Olympic champion. And recently we start working with Alana Reid as well. Work with Olympic silver medalist Kenny Bednarik, Kung Fu Kenny, they call him. Just to name a few, just to name a few. And then also in the States here, I work with IMG Academy, which is like a sports academy. It's in Tampa, Florida. I don't know if you ever read about them. So it's like this big sports academy in Florida. So I'm kind of one of the people on the staff there that work with the academy, as far as some coaching, and then also like I have my sports management master's degree. So I kind of work with the academy like from a sports marketing side as well. Those two things I do on a daily basis, and I also like have my real estate license. So I kind of like working and selling a few properties here in Florida. My real estate license here in Florida. So as of lately, I've been doing my fair share of selling some homes and some commercial buildings here in Florida. Like I just sold a building to a close friend of mine downtown Orlando. So those are the things I'm trying to have my handle at this point in the off season. But during the season, I love to be part of the track and field world. So I travel to the Diamond Leagues, I travel to the Continental Tour meets. I love to stay close to the sport. So when my athletes or whenever the athletes that we work with are competing, we travel. So I was just in Budapest. I went to Zurich, few other Diamond Leagues meeting. All the other Jamaicans are there. That's a part of the sports, whether you're a coach or from the manager side or the athlete. So still stay connected to the sport. But you know what? The funny thing is about traveling to some of these meets and seeing some of your like fellow countrymen or people from your country, but like the young athletes, some of them won't even know who you are. And when I was coming up, it's almost was the same. The only people that I really knew coming up was like the big name. I know Dana Aquari. So as soon as they see Dana Aquari, I know who that was. Yeah, of course, yeah. Probably the Bird Camerons, so, but there was a lot of great athletes that competed for Jamaica that really people couldn't identify when they saw the face. And then you're like, you know who that is? That's Merlin Atty right there, right? Oh, that's Merlin Atty. That's her. So now we start get through some of those phases. People like, yeah, that's Dwight Thomas. Yeah, so it's shocking, but I experienced it myself. I know, like from this side, the younger generation of athletes, I see it now when I approach them and I talk to them. So, but you know what? Though? I love it, though. I love it. And then sometimes they will ask for advice and stuff like that, and I love giving them advice. Like my partner said to Clarke, he does a lot for outside of just being a manager. What I do with him is like we try to get certain athletes that compete in the United States or live in the United States and can maybe like out of status, whether it's out of status or you want your status corrected from a visa standpoint or a green card standpoint. We offer those services to our athletes that want to train in the United States and be under our management. It's like an in-house thing. Like if you do everything one time, we could take care of like the immigration status portion, and then we could also be your agent. Because a lot of Jamaican athletes that comes to the United States migrate and go to college. After college, most of them probably don't want to go back. Most of them say, all right, how can I stay in the US, continue my career, and after my career, I probably could transition into the real world. But you know what? I want to start early. I want to stay here. So how can I fix my status? So we kind of offer those services through our marketing company, which is Actors Global, and then we kind of manage the athlete too as well. So those are the fair share of stuff that we do. So we kind of want to take care of the athlete like holistically, not just managing them, but kind of also like their livelihood outside of just track and field. Stuff that's going to be in the future later on after track. So that's my day-to-day life, kind of outside.
I'm happy that you mentioned after track because last week we had a discussion in that went in that direction as well. And it's easier now for me to segue into what I really want to ask you about because you're into management and as an agent, I want you to speak to us about what your views are and how you would encourage an athlete who is approached by an entity, a shoe company, whatever the case may be, to be represented by them.
Yeah.
For you, is it school first or take the money and go, or a combination of both?
I mean, like, to be honest, like the scheme of things just changed this year where NIL is starting to become a part of the game, officially part of the game now, right? Before that wasn't a part of the game. So that limited your choices, right? Either you take the money or you go to college. With the NIL opportunity, you could take some money, stay in school, get your education, and then take the money later on, right? So it's just your choices. You have some athlete will be like, no, I want to take the money. I don't want to do any NIL because some of them might bored competing. I'm like, I'm too good for college. I'm on the world stage, but I take the money and go. Some people might want to like take the NIL agreement, which is like the shoe company still pay, but they pay for your likeness and your image, right? So the same shoe company, Adidas, Nike, Puma, Asics, New Balance, the same shoe company gonna pay for your likeness. You stay in school, you get paid, and then when you officially want to go pro, we already established a previous relationship signing you as one of our NIL clients. So now you give us a shot at signing you long term as a full Olympian and a professional athlete. So the NIL kind of just starts some kind of pre-relationship with the athlete. Like, look, I'm investing in you while you're in college. So when you leave college, you could say, you know what, you invested in me and you believe in me, you believe in my vision while I was at university at such and such. So you know
Is that
what? I want to continue that relationship with you.
that's the sort of arrangement that Jaden Ebert is under, right?
There you go. There you go.
Okay.
It's a perfect example. Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes, yes. So it's like create that relationship with Puma now behind them in college, you know. So whatever is going to the next step forward, I'm sure he's probably going to give Puma the opportunity to say, hey, you believe in my vision while I'm at University of Arkansas. So let's create a long-term plan, you know, a long-term vision, a long-term relationship.
For
But
those persons in the comment who are asking, I'm going to just ask you to explain what does NIL really stand for.
um,
What
uh,
word?
so the NIL agreement is an it was passed in the United States like I think 2 years ago. Where like any company or any entity, I should say, could pay you to use your likeness or your image, right? And it's different from someone like a shoe company paying you for performance. If Puma or Nike or Adidas signed you to be professional, they're signing you for your service as a professional athlete, right? NIL is just paying you to use your likeness and your image. So basically, Adidas sign you as an NIL athlete. They're gonna want you to post stuff in Adidas equipment, gear, whatever it is, a new shoe. That's it. They're using your likeness. That's it. There's nothing. If you run fast, you broke the world record, you win the Olympics, you're not gonna get anything for that. I'm not
Okay.
paying you for performance. I'm just paying you just to show my brand and use it as a likeness. That's it. It
So
has
it's
nothing to
basically
do with
marketing.
that's
So
basically marketing. That's
so
it.
so I did a case study a couple of months ago with Nike. So
Yes.
Nike would the example and I try to explain it to persons is it's a cheaper way of marketing
Pretty much. Yeah, kind of.
because
Yes.
if you look at we use the NFL here in the US as the biggest sporting venture to get
Yes.
prime time marketing in NFL, you got to pay out the big buck. But if you
Box. Yeah.
yeah, but if you have somebody that you already have there wearing your brand for free, quote unquote free,
Yeah.
they don't need to pay the TV company for
Absolutely.
that. And it's like we had a few incidents in Jamaica where a reputable company gave somebody to wear something,
Yeah.
they show it off and stuff like that. So with Neil, if it's a watch company, the moment I put my hand down on that track, the
Yes.
video camera is already being displayed on the watch or displayed
Yes.
on the shoes. That's all I want as marketing. It's
Yes.
airtime that I can't pay for, that I'll pay for airtime, right? So it's pretty much a win for them. It's a win-win situation because marketing campaigns are very expensive.
Expensive.
But
Yes. Yes.
but for me, I look at it the flip side. My flip side is I don't know if persons look at it this side. And I saw somebody post something the other day that Puma's done so much for athletics. And I twist it around because I think outside the box is that Puma has done so little for athletics
Ethics.
because
Yes.
they have limited the amount of resources that they want to put in to this product.
Yes.
Because if it was a different sport and they have sponsored a different sport and a lot of different sports and they invest the money, but because you
Mhm.
can get all these free rights,
Yes.
they they're taking it and I call it modern day slavery.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
knock me
Yeah.
wrong for it, but it's actually modern day slavery.
Yes.
Because when a
Yes.
Puma can pay me $10 million, they're gonna pay a Jamaican athlete or a US athlete or wherever you're from in track and
Yeah.
field a percentage of it. But in the next
Mhm.
sports, they're paying millions. And if and I'm gonna use let me use Elaine. We're a big Elaine fan, and they
Yeah.
sponsor Elaine. Elaine is on the track from the call room. If them in Budapest, it was all the way over Woy, and
Boy,
them have
boy.
to
Yeah.
drive. Yeah, and imagine the camera is on Elaine showing Puma from that time until the race is done. That's approximately 10 minutes. In the next event, for 10 minutes with broke Puma Bank because they only can pay for 30 seconds commercial.
Seconds.
And a
Yes.
30-second commercial is value more than what they pay Elaine for 5 years.
It's true.
And a lot of people don't put it in perspective. Now, knock your business, because you're part of the business too.
Yeah, I see where you're
But
going. No,
I
no, no,
thought
no, no, no.
and
I
that's
don't
the
call it
reality.
modern day
Very
slavery.
very good analogy. Yeah. Very good analogy you're using. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and that's where the shoes company are doing. And one of, not knocking Nike, but when you follow Nike to a level and see what they have done, and my study was just, and what was amazing about my study was that nobody knew about track and field in my class. They spoke about the football sponsors
Yeah.
and stuff, and
So you're doing your
I brought up
masters, right?
track and,
You're doing your
yeah,
masters.
yeah, you're doing a masters, and I brought up track and field, and they're like, what? It's a
Yeah.
minority to what Nike does to the other sports.
Yes.
and
Yes.
and believe you me, the money is there to be spent. So
I
it
don't
brings
see it though, Zavian. I don't see it as
modern day
slavery. I
slavery.
see it as I see it as brilliant marketing. I mean,
Brilliant marketing.
yeah,
And,
it's a
on
brilliant
their
marketing
side.
strategy. Because
Yes.
if I can
Kino,
get somebody
Kino,
to wear my brand and pay them $5 million as
Yeah.
opposed to paying for primetime TV slots at $15 million, and I'm getting the same amount of sales and revenue coming out of that, it's brilliant marketing.
no,
Mhm.
Kino, be honest, that was one of my critique. It all boils down to that. Even though I
A
love track
business,
and field,
brother, business.
Yeah.
it's called business, and it's a world. And
Business.
guys, it's what track and field is. And for Dwight to be on our program tonight is for to be an agent of change. And I mean, Soko and Dwight has been an agent of change, and
Yeah.
they have given athletes what they are presented. I know persons would present them a package, and they have to
Yeah.
present a package to somebody. So it's actually what is presented to them they can present.
Yeah.
But that's my theory behind of track and field and sponsorship, though.
Yes.
Okay. Before we move on, let me just say, well, Zavian, your brain is entertaining and engaging. I must say that.
Yeah,
But let me say,
I have to really mean Latoya.
Stop. Stop. It's the white show,
say
not
this
my
is
show.
Get rid of the marketing, that's his thing. The marketing of his thing.
okay, right? Yeah, so true.
Yeah.
So Dwight, the comment that you're seeing on screen is coming from a former coach at Kingston College, someone who you may know very well also. That's Mr. Lennox Graham himself, saying that he's proud of your journey and that he wish you continued blessing. That's
Yes.
Mr. Lennox Graham there that
Instagram.
giving you that comment right there. And
Yes.
so but you said something about the nil that interests me that I want to ask this question because I had it before. You said that when you sign a nil, if you run a world record, you don't get paid for it.
No.
So you are saying to me that we're using Jaden Hibbert there, who went into the world championship with the the longest jump.
Mhm.
If it is that he had jumped a world record
Yeah.
in Budapest, he wouldn't have gotten paid for that.
Yeah, because that's not your likeness I'm paying for. That's a performance-based event. That's a performance-based bonus or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
That would be in a professional
Contract.
contract. That's in a contract. Yeah. But
So-
not an NIL. No.
Okay. So how does it work then that Jaden, who has signed the NIL, went to be a part of Diamond League? And we saw, the whole world saw that first place being, snitched away from him in one jump by
Yes.
Zamba. However, we know that what we're aware of that you place in the Diamond League, you get paid.
Yeah.
How does that work for a Jaden or a person who signs a nail who is a part of that?
So competing in the Diamond League don't affect his NIL at all. Even if he had one and he didn't have one, he still could compete in the Diamond League. Because the Diamond League is a separate entity
Separate entity.
Puma
Okay.
that he's competing for. Yeah, that is competing in, and the Diamond League is just an event that is competing or a part of. So it wouldn't affect anything like as far as what he's
His
getting.
scholarship or his name.
Yeah. Even if he was like still in amateur status, he could just jump in University of Arkansas uniform, get his second place, go on a plane, and go back home.
But I have a
Okay.
question.
But that leads me to another question, though, Dwight.
Yeah.
So you explained to Latoya a while ago that whilst under the NIL, you would not be able to get paid for a world record. But correct me if I'm wrong. When you go to say a world championship where they pay money for performances, isn't the prize money or the world record breaking money, that prize, that $100,000 prize, does it come from the company that signs you, or does it come from the world championship organizing committee?
So no, like this is what I get your question if you want me to continue. So if you go to the world championship and break any world record, the World Athletics pay you a bonus to break that. But also, if you're a professional athlete, your shoe company pay you another bonus.
Okay.
Yeah. So the bonus I'm talking about, he wouldn't get paid is from the
shoe company.
Yeah, but he would get from as far as World Athletic is concerned. Yes, he would get those. He was entitled to those. Yeah, but if he takes it at that moment, he loses amateur status. So you would have to kind of like put it in a trust until you figure I'm going to go pro. Yeah, you can't touch it until you go professional.
My question from the nil perspective is, we saw Jaden got a spot in Diamond League.
Yeah.
Is it a reflection of being a part of Puma? Because normally you're an agent, right? You would have bind to get in a lane for your athlete. But then he has no agent. So it would be a Puma that is striking a deal for him, getting a spot.
No, it's the meeting director. So every Diamond League, the meeting director has full authority, could invite whoever they like.
Yeah,
right?
but we speak a little bit off
yes,
of the book.
So if
Puma pushing the envelope.
Probably
Puma pushing the envelope.
But you have to remember, I'm also getting on him own merit because he was like the leading jumper in the world. So I mean, nobody gonna turn him down, and he just broke the world U20 record. So he got in on his own merit, as you want to call it, right? So he would have got in. I would invite him anyway if it was my need.
The association with Puma is a bonus, but
it's just a bonus to it. Yeah, it was just a bonus to it. Yeah. Yes, the boy is special, so he would got in on his own merit. Yeah.
The boy is special. Okay.
The boy is special.
I like that.
But do I? Okay, go moderator.
As you said that the boy is special, I'm taking over to the female side of things. I know you're an Erdler, and as you rightfully said, that you guys just signed one of our own babies, or Perfect Six, or Fantastic Six. That one, and tell me about you looking on, admiring young athletes in this generation now, whether it be from Jamaica or anywhere outside of the world, but specifically to Jamaica. Who is it that your consideration, your mindset is like outside of Jaden that you said is special? Where do you see them going? What is it your consideration thought space is?
To be honest, I like the I mean, we're working with one, so Alana Reed obviously is special. I mean, she just ran like 1092 at Girls Champs. I mean, that's like unheard of, so, and she's only 18 years old, so she still has even another year as a U20 athlete. So you're talking about next year she potentially could run world U20 record. Outside of her, I still think you have like the twins with Coach Stephen Francis, who I think is going to do exceptionally well down the road with Alana. So I think our sprint side, as far as female is concerned, we're doing exceptionally well now with the Jackson and the Shelley, Natasha Morrison. That's to call a few names, but outside of those females that's dominating right now, I think our futures is in good hands. And especially with the coaches not going anywhere. So I think like with Reed and the other few girls that just went over to MVP, I think we have a strong group for 2028. Like for me, like any female athlete that signed out of high school this year, like you had the twins sign and went pro last year with Nike, then you have Serena Cole and you have Alana signed this year and went with Nike. The goal for these girls is not to win next year in Paris. They're only 18, they're young. The goal is for 2028 in London. And we know by 2028, some of the young female that's running now for the Jamaican team is not going to potentially be around. And it's not going to probably be performance-wise. It's going to probably be like grandma time catching up to you. So it's time for the young crops to come up. So I feel like we're in good place with the young girls that we have now, whether that's just the twins and Alana and these girls. So I am waiting to see how these group of young women blossom from the young youth, U20 level to the full professional level. I'll say in the next 2-3 years. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
I have a question.
One moment
You
before your
mentioned
question. One moment before your question. Sorry, because someone was asking the question before. Dave was asking if under the nail, once an athlete said under the nail, is it that they are obligated to sign with that same sponsor upon going pro?
No, they're not obligated to sign to that same company after they go pro. Because every NIL agreement is for 1 year. So you could do 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. So maybe, and then remember, NIL agreement is only while in college. So once you finish college, it's done. So now you start over again to get a professional deal. So the deal that let's use, for example, we're going to use Jane Smith, right? We're using Jane, right? So once he's finished with college or he decides to go pro, he could move to a different sponsor if he's. There's no tie to it once you finish college and move on to a professional level. So, no.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
The person said thanks. Zavian, you had a question?
You're welcome. Yes.
yeah, my question is you mentioned U20 next year. As
Yeah.
an agent for like an Alana, do you direct her path to a U20 championship? Because your vision listening to you for Alana is Paris is out of the question. It's just like making a roadmap and you're like, all right, we're going through the transitions. So knowing that they're still 18, 17, still under 20, do you push them to say, I'm still trying for you to make a Paris team, or we're going to go through the different stages of development? Because as Coach Graham said last week, we only have 8 lanes with maybe 165 plus countries trying to do, and Jamaica already have 3 out of
Yes.
the 8.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so so are you, as an agent, do you direct your young charges to say, let us go through the ranks,
Okay.
get the experience of competition, or do you just go big and call it a day?
We're gonna go big. We'd have to go big. Yeah, you have to, because you got to think about, like, with her, she already running grown people times. 1092 is not no easy feat. Like that. Like a lot of young, I should say, a lot of older pros can't even run those times today. And you have to think, for a young lady like herself running that well at such a young age, and she's gonna get 1 more year of maturity, which gonna, like, substantially she could improve. So we go big, but you know what? You always have a plan B in the pocket, right? And the plan B is World U20, which is going to be like 2 weeks after the Olympics. So even if you make the Olympic team, even part of the relay, if say next year you go to the Olympic trials, right? 1060, someone win, then 1069, then a 1070 get the top 3. And then, so for example, Alana Reid get 4th with 1085. She break her PB and she running 1085, and she's still going to be a teenager. So you still got to think like your season is successful. You still got to say you have a successful season, and then you go to U20 and you run 1081. That's a great season, because you don't have to win the Olympics at 18. If you do, you do. I can think from the top of my mind who have won an Olympic individual title in the last probably 5 or 6 Olympic games is Steve Lewis from the United States, won the 400 meter at 18 years old in 1988. And he went to UCLA, he was a freshman, coached by John Smith. So That's the last time I could think of an 18-year-old. We absolutely never seen that in the 100 meter, right? Men or women, and we absolutely never seen that in the 200 men or women or the 400. Just Steve Lewis is the only person I could go back, if my memory counts right, who have won an individual event at 18 years old. And he was in college. So he's already getting college level training. But you're talking about someone that's just coming out of high school. So if you don't make it, depends, but we got to go big. You got to go big. Anytime you have a big goal, you just have to go big, especially when you run in the times that you did last year. So we're going to go big. We're going to go to make the team and make the top 3.
Okay.
I want to move back a little bit into your own career, Dwight, because I don't think we have delved enough into that. I remember years ago, I used to watch, and you were there or just about there, and I used to be leaning over the line with you. Tell us about your career, 100 meter hurdles. What were the highs? What were the lows? How do you see your career from your own standpoint?
For me, I think I had a pretty good career. Right? I feel like I accomplished a lot for myself from the junior level all the way to the senior level. Yes, I would have wanted more. Everybody wants more. Even somebody that Usain Bolt probably feel like he wanted more, right? His first Olympic Games, he got knocked out in the first round. So I'm sure now you look back and say, I wish I would have won 2004 as well. But you think about a junior level, I went to World U20 or World Junior as it's called, and I got third in 100. When I got third in 100 meter at that time, I was the first Jamaican junior athlete that ever get an individual medal in the 100 meter for men. I was the only person. So I started there. From there, after that, we start getting medal individually. Then the 4x1 we won. So to this day, I say, all right, I'm a world U20 champion and world U20 bronze medalist. Then I go from there. Then I went to college. And in college, I went my conference and NCAA and that. And then I step up to the pros. And then I make my first Olympic team in high school. So I went to Sydney, Australia in high school when I was only 19. And in that same Olympic Games, I got fourth with a 4x1. I ran the second leg that got fourth. I never cried so much in my life. I rather would have got 6 or 7, man. Because the fourth place just kind of rub it in your face. It just kind of, we're just right there. Just run past one more person. I'm like, I'm going to go home with a medal,
It's like a 1-0 beating in football.
Like 1-0, just give me 6 stuff. And say, we never have no chance. You don't care if who come on or go on. Who know, But 1-0 make you feel like just few changes and we could have like draw and win, Yes, I remember Veronica Campbell was at Olympics, right? And she was like a junior on the team. 2 of us kind of made the team from high school. She run on that 4x1 with the females that got second, consisting of the great Merlin Atty, who was on that team too as well. And I remember I sitting down at the stands, I'm saying, Veronica, let me see a medal. I look at a medal, I'm like, man, I almost get a medal. Even rub it even more. So, like those moments, I remember to this day, like, just say, let me see a medal. I look at the medal and can't stop look at the medal, like, man, I almost get one. Oh, man, fourth. So, all right, so I go from that. Then the next one, I went to Athens, and then, I made the semifinals, the 100 meter, and then the relay. We kind of didn't get to use a Safa on the relay. That year, Safa start to come up. He was running very well that year. We didn't get to use him on the 4x1, so we didn't do well then. 2008 come around and we win the 4x1 with Usain and stuff. And then 2009 is when I transitioned to the hurdle a little bit. So I remember before I transitioned to the hurdles was like one of those events for Jamaica where it's overshadowed by the sprints. Nobody not paying attention to it because 2008 we only went with 2 hurdlers in that Olympic game. We didn't have a third person in the games. It was 2 person alone running there. It was Maurice Wignall and I forgot who was the next person. And then I started, let me transition to the hurdle in 2000 a little bit. The 100 did I get a little bit hot. Usain Bolt start running like 9.5 and 9. Yeah, it get hot, man. Like, man, and at the time he's only 21. So you're like, this brother not going nowhere for a long time. So it really, I get hot and I'm very young. So I said, all right, let me transition to the hurdles, but I'm going to still sprint. And then when I transitioned to the hurdles, I made the world team in 2009 after the Beijing Olympics. I made the finals in the hurdles. And then I ran on the 4x1 that won in Berlin. So I got a relay medal again. But I made the finals my first year doing hurdles. Then I went to the Zurich Diamond League and I won Zurich and broke the national record in the hurdles first year. And then after that, now I continue to do the hurdles again. Obviously, I make the team in Moscow and other team and Pan Am in Toronto 2015. Before 2016, I finally called it a career and kind of retired in 16. So I think about my career. I ran for like my first world team I made, actually. My first world championship team I made at 18 years old. I went to 99 to Seville, Spain. And I was 18. I just won the U20 Pan American Games in the 1 and the 2. And I ran with the senior men at the trials in Jamaica and I got 5th place. So I made the relays. I went to Seville in Spain. And then my last team I competed was 2015 Toronto Pan Am Games. So pretty much I ran from 99 to 2015. That's 16 years I ran for Jamaica on the senior level. Yes.
All right. So my question is, we're going in your business, as Jamaicans say. Correct me if I'm wrong. You went to Clemson, right?
Yes.
Clemson University.
Yes.
So everybody's saying this youngster running good, but them not understand the work I put in. How did NCAA play a part in that transition, and how, because you transition from 100-meter to hurdles, which is more technical. So it's a 2-part question. NCAA played a part, and how did your coach play a part in your transition?
You know what? I skip out a few things. Let me go back. So while at Calabar, I won the 100-meter and 10-meter hurdles in class 2, break the record. I ran the 100-meter, I won the 100-meter same year, break the record, and then we won the 4x1. So that was 97. Then 98, my first year in class 1, I won the 100-meter. I won the hurdles and broke the record in the hurdles. At the time, it was 13:79 I ran. Then I ran the 200-meter and I won the 200-meter. So that year I won 3 individual events. So I kind of was doing the hurdle from Calabar. Yes. And I remember my first year at Calabar was class 3. I ran just the hurdles at Champs. So over the year, I progressed to where I was running just the hurdle to now spring hurdle, and I won class 1 and class 2 in the hurdle. So I was already a hurdler pre-going to college. Okay. You know, so when I went to college, I was already a hurdler. I'm just fast. I was just running much faster in the 100. So when I went to World U20, I'm just running the 100, but a lot of people don't know I could hurdle too. So like I could put it like this, Karika Hill, like the sprinter for Idle High School. She's very fast, but she's a great hurdler too as well. So it's going to come to a point for she where she's going to have to pick one. And I'm going to be a straight hurdler. I'm going to be a sprinter. It's tough to do both. You know, it's tough to do both on a world stage. It's tough to do both because the hurdle is such a technical event and the speed is also a technical event. But if you don't combine both, what's going to happen? You're going to crash. You're going to crash and burn. So you're going to run up in the hurdle too fast or something's going to happen in line. So you have to go put focus into one, you know? So that's when I started pick the sprints first. When I went to college, I got second at NCAA behind Mr. Justin Gatlin. Then second at 200 behind Mr. Justin Gatlin again. And I ran the 4x1. And then after that, that's when Adidas came and approached me and said, hey, you're doing excellent. Gatlin was signed by Nike, so he was gone. So I was the second person now, best in line. And Adidas came and approached me while in college and said, would you consider running professionally for a brand? Sit down with my mom, we talk about it, and then I decide, yes, I'm going to do it. And then after that, I signed with Adidas. So my first signature, I didn't finish college yet. I signed as a professional while in college and then start pursue professional track and field. Yeah.
So, sorry, before I make Kino ask a question. Sorry, Kino. So the family in the chat is saying, so you are the pre-Michael O'Hara, because Michael O'Hara was also a Calabar student.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God.
He was the second person to accomplish that feat, and I always tell him that he was the second person that win the 1, the 2, and the hurdles.
And the hurdles.
Yeah, yeah. So he was the second person that do it. Yeah, and I did that year so we could win champs. Like I'm not gonna just go out and run a whole bunch because I still had to run the 4x1 and the 4x4. So I
Yeah.
tell my athletes now, like even when I like mess with coaching and stuff, I said, you guys, I ran 5 events in a one day. 5. I ran 3 individual events and the 2 relays after that. You know how sore I was after that day when I went home the next morning. You don't understand, like that's the work I put in that time. Like we wanted to win champ so bad and I wanted to help the team. And this not including the heats and the semi-final the 2 previous days. So like I put in a lot of work over a 3-day span just so I could help the team win. So you talk about today, a 1-2 race people want to run on one day. Maybe 2. They're doing 1, maybe 2. I do 5.
Kino, you had a question before I jumped in. Go ahead.
You would have gotten a chance to run with some of the best hurdlers in the world. We had a pretty smooth hurdler ourselves. So much so that we call him Mr. Smooth, Maurice.
Yes.
And I'm sure at some point you would have been on the track or in the same vicinity as a Lujan.
Yes.
Or a Robles or somebody.
Yes.
How much of a respect do you have for these men, and what was the relationship like with them?
Man, you know what? I don't like saying this, but that's the golden era of the hurdles. Like this is the hurdles back then. Those guys were true hurdlers. The hurdlers today, like they're trying to use a lot of speed and trying to beat each other using more speed. But when you talk about someone like Lujan, how technical of a hurdler he was, and Dyron Robles was just a lethal hurdler. Like those guys was not fast. They were not fast at all. But
technically sound.
Technically sound, like Alan Johnson.
Yes, Alan Johnson.
Those guys were like technically sound. So when I look at someone like my countryman, someone like Omar McLeod, I think what happened with Omar is Omar was very fast. He ran under 10 seconds, probably the only hurdler too. I'm the second fastest hurdler all time. I ran 10 flat in the 100, right? And I'm I am the only hurdler that have made a finals in the 100 meter in the World Championship, which is Helsinki 2005, and then made the hurdle finals in 2009, 2011 World Championship in Daegu. So both of us are the fastest hurdler all time ever, right? So Omar McLeod ran under 10 seconds, 999, and he used that speed in the hurdles, and it worked. It worked for some time. But after a while, when every hurdler start be beside you and the pressure start come on to you, speed not going to help you anymore.
Yeah.
You technically sound and don't crash and burn. And what's happening? You start to crash, starting to fall. You start to impede other athlete. I think he impede a Cuban athlete. I forgot his name. That runs to Spain. Ortega got 5th, and they had to give him a medal, 3rd place, because he said he was in 3rd, and Omar had hit him. Like, it's just all these different things start happening out of control because the speed factor now, he has to kind of carry that down and start being more technical over the last portion of his race. So the hurdles, what I learned while becoming a hurdler, like it's not only speed. You have to have some technical aspect to your race too as well. Because when I start doing the hurdles, right, I was training with one of the best hurdlers. I don't know if you ever heard about David Oliver. He runs 12.8. He was
Yes.
Yes, I started training with Mr. Oliver. We trained together. I said, Mr. Oliver, I'm going to beat you every day in practice, man. And every day we like training, and I'm telling you, I'm faster than David probably run 10.6, and I'm like 10 flat sprinter. And when we start training over the hurdle, and I kind of like, well, but this guy could come off the hurdle, and he keep beating me. So that's when I started to realize, oh, you have to actually hurdle. You have to actually hurdle. Because I have all the speed in the world, but if I don't get down to the ground, I won't be able to use this speed. But he was getting down to the ground, even though he's slower, but he's getting down to the ground faster. Because you can't use his speed in the air. You have to use the speed on the ground. I can't get off the hurdle as fast as he could. So he's going to always beat me if he's down to the ground. So I actually figured out like, oh, you got to learn how to hurdle and get off the hurdle and get down to the ground so you could run. So I tried to learn on a path while I was transitioning from the sprint to the hurdle. I think I was going to come over with my speed and just beat everybody. But that wasn't the case. No, I have to learn. Yeah, there's some aspect to it.
Dwight, I'm going to just pull from another athlete here. This is not the hurdles, but it ties into what you're saying because I remember for years I watched Christine Of
Orugo.
Yeah.
that last name.
Yes.
Orugo.
Yes.
She was never the fastest one. She was what
Yes.
she used was strategy to win her race.
Strategy.
Right.
Yes.
And of course she would have been strong and her technique was good. So
Yes.
it ties into what you're saying. No, it's not the fastest person who wins the hurdle event. It's who balances speed with technique.
Technique, yes. I'm telling you, like that's what, like, with every athlete, and I'm sure everyone probably experiences the same thing. You learn while you go, even though you have your coach. You're gonna self-taught at some point where you're learning on your own and then kind of figure out it yourself. So much you could learn, but you know what? The best way to teach is teach yourself. Like, even though you're in a classroom and the teacher teaching you what you got to study yourself. You still got to study on your own. So it's the same thing as an athlete. I had to study on my own. Like Dyron Robles, I'm like, how does he break the world record? Alex, how does he break? Lu Zhang, how does he? This guy trail leg is so fast. This guy lead leg is so fast. Work on getting your lead leg better. Work on getting your trail leg better. So you kind of like I was like self-teaching myself while I'm transitioning and figuring like, how can I be number one? But that was the golden era, man. Those guys could really hurdle, man. And when you look at Lu Zheng or Robles, you never see a race where any of them crashing and hitting anybody and impeding in the lane and like no. Everything was just smooth. If you look at this world record.
Seem like you throw shades, Seem like you throw shades. Yeah, throw shades because
But Dwight,
but fact is fact, though.
No,
I'm going to pull your mind a bit. I'm going to pull your mind a bit.
Before you pull his mind,
no, I don't want to forget it. 1 second, Zavian. 1 second. I'm just going to pull his mind a bit based on the fact that he spoke about speed and technique. I'm pulling in mind and I'm putting him now on the spot. Answer Parchment and Holloway.
Yeah.
What is it? What is it? What is it between both of them? What is it?
That's why another question coming, like Parchment. If you could look at Parchment is a better. Both of them are good hurdlers, but Grant Holloway, like, he still got to work on his last 3 hurdles. Like, he's fast. Grant Holloway runs 6:50 in the 60 meter, and he won the NCAA in indoor.
Right.
The boy is fast. And I'm sure if you line him up with Parchment, he probably would beat Parchment in the 100 meter. The boy is fast. I think Grant has the potential to run 9.9 in the 100 meter. So, but what's the problem happening with Grant is they say the last 3-4 hurdles is coming up a little bit soon on him, and he's backing off when the pressure comes. But if he runs by himself, there's no pressure. It's easy to slow down, and he's still going to be ahead. But with Parchment now, Parchment have a technique where he's not so fast, so he'll be able to hurdle and get off the hurdle quickly, and he could run him down at the end while he's trying to slow down to not crash the hurdles. Because when I talk to Alan Johnson and a lot of people like this, to run 12 seconds in the hurdle is coming up in your face like this. So you have it coming like this, and it's just you have to react and go over it. Yeah, there's no time, a second chance to think. You just have to react. So it's scary. It is scary. It is scary. What they're doing is scary. I've been in race where the hurdle is just coming and I'm just going and take it. It's scary. It is scary. And you feel like if you do one misstep, you're going to crash and fall to the ground. Yeah. So it's scary. What they're doing is very skill. It's a very skill event. So I know you could have some scary moments in the end, especially for Grant where he's so fast. So once Grant work on that, I think Grant has the potential to break the world record. Yes. He does have the potential to break the world record. But for now, credit, we have to say Parchment is one of the best hurdler all time. When you look as far as like medal is concerned, he has a lot of different medal and silverware and goldware and bronze. Yeah, so right now, and then he just won the Grand Prix final. I was talking to him in Eugene, and I said to him, like, this is the best way you could ever finish your season, because this is going to lead into the Olympic year now. You being number one and you finishing the season with a personal best. So that could transition you into the next year. So for most athletes, you want to finish at a high note. So when you take that little 6 weeks break and you get back into your training, your body still kind of have what you had in your body last year. So it's going to make the next season smoother. Versus if you come off a season where you're injured and behind, you got to start back from scratch. You see the difference? You start back from scratch. But where he's going to start from, he's starting ahead. He's starting ahead of everyone. So
that is exactly what Elaine's husband told her.
Yeah. But with Elaine Thompson, a lot of people don't see it. This girl come back and run like 10-7. People gonna be in trouble next year.
Yeah.
You know, she just had a little setback last year, but now that she kind of catching back that old Elaine feet, they're gonna be in trouble next year because she came back and ran 10-7 end of the year. If she'd have ran that 10-7 in May, just say May, she'd have been in 10-6 shape by August for World Championship.
Yeah.
So we see she's dropping. She dropped right at the last race. Give her 2 more races, she would have keep going down.
Does Parchment have a world record in his legs? Given age and all of that.
12, 7, and 9. That's a tough feat. But he could win the games, though. He could win. And it's going between, do you want a world record or you want to defend your Olympic title? I'll take defend the title over the world record. So if someone come to me and say, break the world, I was like, you know what? Leave the world record. I don't want to worry about the world record. Give me the gold medal. Yes, I'll take the gold medal over the world record.
Yeah.
So if I was Parchment, my goal would be to defend my Olympic title. Yes.
Yeah.
Given age, you know, I think Parchment now gonna be 33, right? 33.
Mm-hmm.
So he's gonna have to take good care of his body. We all know, like grandfather time will catch up. So once you spend an extended time taking care of your body and train.
Boy, grandfather time. Grandfather time.
Athletics, you know, let me tell you, in athletics, once you hit 30, 34, 35, you start, you know, you're in the Masters division now, technically in the US.
Shelly never get the memo, brother.
Yeah, you know, I understand, like even Shelly and right now, she breaking Masters record. Yeah, there's a Masters record to me. You never know that, yeah. Yeah, they broke some Masters record, man. Records.
Dwight. I tell you, I throw shades.
Don't feed into Kino. Dwight, you're feeding into Kino.
No.
And you heard it here first on.
I'm educating them.
Track talk.
No, they never
Track
know
talk.
anything.
35 is Masters race.
That.
You can run Masters.
Yeah, that's we didn't know that. Say, when they turn 35,
Masters is 35. Yeah. So Shelly is the world record all-line Masters.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
I'm going to end that part of the life. And I'm going to say, Sandra and Jove, please remember to tell your favorite athlete, your number one, Pachi, that Dwight,
his Masters.
His fellow Olympian says to consider defending him Olympic title over getting that world record.
Yes.
Zavian, you can go ahead and
we tend not to get past athletes to weigh in on present subjects, and you have been through the federation serious matters.
Yeah.
You've been through J3
politics
from your boy.
Yes.
Yeah. Politics time. We have to get a little politics. You've been through the federation from your boy. From your 18 when you just go and them tell you say you have to sleep in you have a room with a youth. You know, I'm not choice. You just go take the room there, or you have to carry the bag them and everything.
Yeah.
Till now.
In a Dwight's brain now, you know.
But at an 18-year-old going to championships, you just take telling. You're a youngster, you just take telling from officials. Over the years, you gradually start get your voice, start request what you want. Can I get a window seat? Can I not carry the spikes this time around? Can I not carry the Gatorade in my bag?
Yes.
But the politics part of it is that we are struggling. I personally think that our savior for administration is our athletes. So it kind of put a wool over our eyes for the most part. Administration wise, I think we're far behind the world when it comes on to administration with track and field. Have you seen any changes from when you were competing until now, or we're experiencing the same problems?
I mean, from when I was competing, to me personally, I could tell you, for me personally, I never had an issue with the J3. Me personally, I never had a personal issue. everyone has a different opinion. Everybody has a different needs, right? Everyone have some. For me, I'm not a needy person. All I need to do is get on the track, compete, boom, get my medal, and I'm gone. That's it. I don't really need your help. I don't want a lot of assistance. Once I got my coach there, my coach get a room, my coach getting taken care of, 'cause I know they're going to take care of me. I'm going to get my room and everything. I show up on the business and I go. But there's also a side to it where we want to make sure the whole team in general is getting taken care of. Especially when we go to certain training camps, we want to make sure we have the right meals and we have masseuse traveling with we, and we have people that's going to pick the relay team, going to pick the right four that's supposed to compete. These are other issues that's being dealt with,
The
right?
right four.
The right four. Those are different issues that they be dealt with. So there's always going to be politics around picking the relay people. Even with the United States, it's the same thing, right? Like I could share my opinion, like the world championship. I feel if Elaine would have stayed on a relay, we would have won. You know, I mean, hands down, we would have won. But they took her off the relay because she didn't finish in the top four. And they feel it wasn't justifiable to put her on the finals. But we all know if she'd have run on the finals, probably would have won. Because it shows the shape that she's in afterwards, right? I don't think the USA should have beat we. I feel bad seeing the USA cross the line before we. But those are politics we're going to deal with regardless. I just think it's something like we have to live with. But we have to keep sharing our opinion. The athlete got to keep fight for the team that they think should go out there and the right for that should go in the right order to as well. Should go out there and run. Those are things that I think is going to be a part of the sport for a long time. But me personally, I don't ever think I had any issue with the J3. I think the J3 members, they have to sit down as a panel and figure out how the best way to justify picking the right coaches and make sure the right coaches makes the right decision. So we don't have kickback or setback where athletes coming out and voice an opinion that how this was unfair and that was unfair. I think if we just have the right people in place and make sure set the standard right, like, listen, we're going to put the correct four, and this is why we're putting the right four out there. And then people feel it's unjust because a lot of a J3 member are people that's on the staff. They also coach athlete that's on the team. And that's kind of the conflict of interest. So when they feel like this coach picked this athlete that they actually coach on the team, they feel it's unjust. And what can we do to fix that? They have to go figure that out on their own. Should we pick coaches that continue to have athletes in the actual team where they feel if those athletes get picked over other member, they feel, well, the only reason why he get picked is because his coach is the administration for the relay, or his coach is the relay coach, or his coach is the 400-meter coach. That's why he's on the 4x4. Those are issues they have to deal with inside. I don't know how that we fix, and they have to address it. I think it has to be addressed. Yes.
Do you think then, Dwight, that it would be better for people who have actually competed and are in the sport? I mean, take away a Bert Cameron, for instance, who would have done his time. But we're talking about the next generation, the VCBs, the Shelley who will age out soon, and you know, do you think it would be good for people like you, Gregory Orton, people with the intellectual acuity, to actually go in and have the know-how and the experience to make some change? Because for me, right now, what we're seeing is it's like an old boys club. Mm-hmm. That's how I view it, and that's how the public views the J3. It's like an old boys club where you know, your one hand you watch this on your palm because I'm brethren and all that. So do you think it would be better to have people who were there, who understand the ins and outs, who are in touch with the grassroots and can actually help the sport and the administration?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I think they need like someone like a Veronica Campbell. This girl have over 11 medals between Olympic and World Championship. And you have that kind of knowledge, that kind of person who is a hero in our sports, who have a statue in front of stadium. And the respect.
Worldwide respect.
Even bring them on the team as an ambassador. Just say ambassador for the team.
Consultant.
You know? Consultant. She don't have to coach. She don't have to coach. I don't have to, if she might not be coach, but she can come in and be ambassador around the team. Yes, there can be roles they could design to bring people like Veronica Campbell, Gregory Orton. Gregory Orton is one of the high-sorted psychologists now as far as like mental coach is concerned. Gregory Orton. I think those people can be introduced in the team eventually and like kind of like play different roles, create roles for them, you know? These, even myself, past athlete, like you're talking about someone that goes to if I count, and I know I'm not wrong, I went to about 8 world championship between 99 and 2016. 8 world championship and 4 Olympic games, you know. I didn't miss one world championship team from 99. So I got 99 worlds, 2001 Edmonton, Paris 03, Helsinki 05, Osaka 07, Berlin 09, Daegu 011. I went to Russia 013, and then I missed 14, 15 Beijing. Age start catch up. You know, that time I was 34. So it was, you know, that time. I start reaching to the masters at that.
But Dwight, you left out a more. I think you left out a very important part of it. This is experience, which experience teaches wisdom. But we have a lot of athletes, including yourself, and a lot of professional persons that have went ahead and mastered the sports from the educational aspect of it. You have masters in sports. You gain your internship from all of these creditable institutions, and we can't get into the All Boy Association. It's like we have a CV that can't even apply for a job to make it better. I understand experience go with it, you know. But for you, and part of my question is, you're an athlete, and you say, you know what? I'm gonna do a master's in a sports. You could have do a master's in a finance. You could have do a master's in anything, because you want to, you want to make change. But then we're still not getting the opportunity. A person aspired to do a master's in sports is doing a master's in sports to manage an Olympic team. I want to send my CV next year to the JHA president and say, this is what I can do. This is the recommendations that I'm coming from. I work with, and the problem that we're having in Jamaica is that our own is working with some institutions here in the States that could have run JHA. They get into the universities. They are program directors. They are coaches. They are, as you say, ambassadors. And these people are utilizing the skills that we brought, that we have.
But
Dwight, I think the challenge is that to become JHA president is more of a popularity contest than it is an ascension based on qualifications and experience. We have seen it so many times, you know. I personally, my background, them know say I'm here the troublemaker on the panel. For me, we move from one quack to another quack as the leader of the JHA. Latoya
drink wine. Latoya drink wine.
I speak without any reservations at all. I speak without any reservations. These are my views. I think we have moved from one person who doesn't seemingly, let me get it correct so that them can't sue me. Seemingly doesn't have the best interest of the country at heart, because we are seeing obvious conflicts of interest. You said it a while ago. The fact is, I don't believe we should have a framework in which you have anyone who has individual athletes there who are called to national duties. Inevitably, it's going to create a problem. Inevitably, because you want your athletes to make money too.
Not to cut you. You work at one company. I work at one. Latoya work at one. There's an ethical. We have to do an ethics test. We have to sign off on the ethical agreement. There's no compromise when it comes on to ethics in a no organization. JHA throw that out the door, like them not have no ethics at all. Because when it come on to Coach A of
it seems as if they have thrown it out the door.
It seems. Use the word seems.
Remember, they don't have champagne
it
money,
can't be seen. No, that's okay. Never for come find me.
Richard for the champagne money. Me not so Richard. Follow the protocol. Christina giving her the protocol.
Never for come find me. But
you know what?
But the bottom line is, you can't have so much compromise, and that's the problem. Too much compromise is in the mix. I can't be your coach and I pick the team and me pick you. I
What
just like my
say you,
Martin
Dwight?
Latoya.
What say you,
No,
Dwight?
no,
Yeah,
I
Dwight,
just
me
like my
to hear
Martin
your
What
Latoya.
say you,
opinion.
Dwight?
No, Dwight, the country wrong already.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dwight.
Yeah. But you know
What
what?
say you, Dwight? Please, thank you.
When I look at the whole scheme of things,
Moderator,
like,
behave
to
strong.
be honest, the world
You know, I say
athletics.
nothing more.
You see, you see the world, you see the J3s and the World Athletics. These are members of the World Athletic committees, like our current president. He'd been a part of the the Caribbean committee as far as NACAC and World Athletics and for many years. So they create these relationships for over like 20 years. Gart Gale been in the business for over 20 years, a part of somewhere he worked in J3, not the president for 20 years. So they established this long previous relationship with World Athletics and NACAC, and whether it's like locally and Central America versus World Athletics. So that's how they be able to like they in the system so long because the relationship they had. And you see the people that's in World Athletics, most of them are there since 20 years ago. It's the same group of people. So not just the J3, these people have been in it so long, but they also have the World Athletic people. It's the same thing. They've been in the business for a very long time. So they work together over extended period of time. I don't know
Why?
what I don't want to say it's an old boys club. I don't know what to call it, but I know they work together for a very long time and they stick around for a very long time. Do we need fresh blood or new people to come in? Maybe we could slowly introduce some new people in who have fresh ideas and a fresh mindset, right? That's why we have like a Michael Freighter as a third president, for him to step up as a young mind, someone that I competed with on a junior level and a senior level to share his young ideas and fresh ideas to the people that's been there over 20 years. Because you know what they
Him
have
seem,
over
him seem
Michael
muzzled.
Freighter.
He
I,
seem muzzled.
I,
He was a
I
quiet,
don't
he was
think
a
he's
quiet
muzzled. I
person
think
from
it's
the.
his personality. I don't think he's
Just
muzzled.
his personality.
It's
it's
his
his
personality.
His
personality. It's his
personality.
personality. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do have young people there, but they have to like step up and I say connect with the younger generation because Michael Frater, he's someone of somewhat of their age. It's to the athletes that's currently on the team. You got to think Michael Frater, he could relate to Elaine Thompson. They're from the same coach, Stephen Francis, all of these different people and get their opinion. What do you want me to address when I'm going to the J3 meeting? What do you want me to
Yep.
talk to? And he going to the meet. I don't know. I'm not there, so I think
Yeah.
that's our window in to someone that's
Dwight.
young.
Somebody said
Oh,
J3
you
is
know,
like
Dwight.
a
Dwight.
lodge.
Dwight.
Somebody said it's
Dwight. We
like a
need a better.
lodge.
We need a better connect. The
You
other
know,
day,
I'm gonna
somebody want to
control
come.
this. I'm gonna
No,
control this. I'm gonna
no. The other
control
day,
this.
somebody want to complain.
yeah,
Dwight. And as you say about connect, we need to find that connection and if
yes.
and association. Because the other day, somebody want to complain at Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and go upon and tell the whole world.
Whoa, okay,
And
yeah,
it blew up.
You are
yeah,
something, man. You
No,
are something,
it
man.
blew no, it blew
You
up.
know,
So
yeah.
so
you know,
so
deal
no.
with the
Listen to
admin.
Dwight. No. Listen to
Deal with
Dwight.
the
You
admin.
have
I'm
the
not
fabulous
champagne
six.
money.
No, you have the fabulous six. But the only thing them there upon them for the Twitter. And you go say something wrong to me. Me just go put it on Twitter and say, yo, what the coach you about?
X,
Yeah.
X,
You
X,
understand?
X.
I have a question though. I have a question though.
All right, so
Dwight.
Kino, this is your last question.
My last question.
Last
Yeah.
question.
My last question.
But we're not giving Dwight any water to drink. You see, water done not two bottles of water. Dwight drink already.
Yeah.
Next time we can refreshments.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know you mentioned the relationships that these people have and the amount of years that they would have, been working together. But for me, there seems to be some sort of disconnect because if you look at somebody like a Neville Teddy McCook,
Yeah.
who was well respected worldwide,
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that sort of respect for the association now or its president.
Yeah. Okay.
You know?
Yeah. To be honest, and it's gonna be up to whoever is running the administration now to some way kind of gain the respect of the athletes. If they feel like they don't respect him, he has to figure out a way to gain their respect. How he's gonna go about doing that, he has to figure that out, right? Because I spoke to the president, and his goal is to be the president, I guess, for the next term. So that means not only now, he's already thinking about the future. So during that time, he's
God
going to
forbid.
figure out, huh?
God
God
forbid.
forbid.
He has to figure out, yeah,
Psalms
so,
91.
so to be honest, like someone like me, I would love to like be a part of like a lot of panels and come down to a lot of meeting with the J3. I have no problem with such, and I would love to speak for the young youth of athlete, because I am a manager and I see, different athletes, and I see how we operate in our environment and kind of share from that side. Because J3 as a whole, the whole administration, I don't think they travel to diamond leagues. I don't think they see the necessary needs from the athlete from a day to day. So it's good to have someone that could come in and share fresh ideas. That's why I love to say I love a young person that come in and share fresh ideas and kind of like let them kind of have an open mind to certain subjects. That's what you guys looking for, right? Yeah, but there are ways we could address it,
But there it's called, for me, it's called lifelong learning, and it's a phrase that I use a lot. It's lifelong learning. You can't be stuck in your ways.
Yeah.
Things change, and you have to move along with change.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. I'm foreseeing a lot of problems. You see, once we stop producing the good times and competing, which we always get a savior.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sherika is the savior now because you're saying as move out.
Yeah.
So we always get a savior to take away the attention from the administration part of it. And the problem I'm having with administration is that the super athletes are okay because they have a good coach and they have a good infrastructure. What about the persons that really needs their help? They are going to suffer. The ones that just they are 10 seconds, I want to go sub 10, and I need the J3 help. How the J3 is going to facilitate that athlete? It's not everybody can be lucky to have you as a manager.
Yeah.
And you can follow them to Diamond League and follow them around the world to make sure they're okay. I can be an athlete manager, but me can't have the money because me just want my youth to make a living and me have to manage you via Zoom and everything else. But you need that person in J3 to help connect the dot. And that's my struggle with J3 though. What happened to that athlete that is, even if they're in the quote unquote elite clubs, you have athletes that are not being paid attention by the coaches. You're in the club, but I know you are the star athlete, so you just not get me attention. So you need a coach, right? Yeah, you need to go to J3 and say, yo, me in a races, I'm the MVP, but me only get 2 seconds of them time. Can you provide me with a coach or facilitate me to even come one day out of the week or 2 days out of the week whenever my coach now work, because me really want to make that team. All right, me make the team, but my coach can't come. Who are going there if you go help me facilitate my development? Them now facilitate the development.
Yeah.
I'm not being soft because I'm a boss couple of them for a little money here and there and say, yo, take this and it's the goodwill of some of the athletes.
So it's a good. So the thing is, and as you said earlier on in the program, a lot of young athletes come to the States and decide, say, oh, me now go home because there's no infrastructure to go home back to. We watch a program the other day when Mr. English said that him could even find money to come back. A Calabar old boy too couldn't find money to come back to trials. And me and my panelists, them always complain about it, is that what about those athletes that run the NCAA system, don't have no money because as a school you just can't afford lunch. School provide you with lunch, provide you with everything, but you know you're good enough to come run the 800.
But
look at Ferguson. Ferguson did. You can't afford it. Your parents can't afford it. I've been into situations where I have close friends that went to college in a way, and the plane fare alone can pay for 2 subjects. When me come back to Jamaica go run trials for, and they're good enough to make the trial team. They're good enough to make the team, but they can't afford it.
Can't afford it. I kind of see where you're going. Yeah, I kind of see where you're going. Like,
that's my problem with J3 though.
Yeah, but you know what? That's what they have to have a committee. They have to have an athlete committee, and the athlete committee or whoever like have these questions to address. And another thing too, the athletes that has the power and has a capability to can say, let's join and make like a committee, and we could get your questions answered and make sure we have the J3 accountable. That's how we could address it, right? So the people that's the lead, as you said, the Jackson and all these people, they got to come together and say, we're going to set a tone, not for us two, for the ones that's beneath or the one that's coming up. Let's leave a legacy for them and let's create a committee. And this committee, guys, what are we going to address? What was the problem this year at World Athletic Championship that you was not satisfied with? And they said, all right, we never like this, we never like this, we never like this, we never like this. What are the things that you think the J3 did great at the World Championship? They did this, we like this, we like this, we like it. All right, let's go to them and address this and hold them accountable for next year World Champion, next year Olympics. I think that's a step to do it. Yes, but in order to do this and make it work, the ones that's at the top have to be a part of it because they're going to have the biggest voice. A few years ago, World Athletic Championship, the professional athletes, including like back in, I think it was in the late 90s, 2000, Donovan Bailey, which is the former world record holder. All of these athletes try to do the same thing in World Championship, try to make like a committee and have their question addressed and trying to have different things addressed. But the ones at the top have to agree. The Michael Johnson and everyone I heard wasn't a part of it. So it break down. It didn't work. Didn't work. Just like the NBA and just like the NFL have the National Players Association, where it's a voice for the athlete. So it's the same thing got to be in track and field. We got to have a voice. So Jamaica locally create a voice for the athletes and they address the question. Every World Championship, you hold them accountable. They say, hey, this World Championship, Zavian wasn't a good coach. He was not practice every day. Him late every day and the team never do well. So you know what, next year, him now get picked. Kino did come every morning early. We do a practice every day. Everything went great. So next year, Kino now can be a part of the relay pool coach to go to the Olympic Games in Paris. It have to have something like that so you could address who all the coaches them accountable and all the staff member them accountable. I think that's a way forward could address it.
Yeah. You make a good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
Accountability is needed. To be fair to J3, though, I know they have I think the Ministry of Sports in collaboration with the organization started some sort of welfare program where they allotted some funds for the less, I don't want to say less fortunate, but the athletes who are not at the top to tap into. But even so, if there is a notion of nepotism being a part of the whole thing, then some people might not be, getting what they're supposed to get. So I think, as you said, management and accountability is needed.
Yes, I think that's how it could be addressed. Yeah. And I think that's the best way to do it. Just to hold them accountable. Because I think even in the United States, if you have an event every year, you have a survey at the end. And the survey kind of supposed to give you all the feedback, what took place that didn't work and what worked. So next year when you have the same event, you know what to take out, what addition to make, and what to subtract from it. So it's the same thing. So now everybody that go on a trip to World Championship don't feel like it's just a free ride. You're there, you're chilling and hang out. You know you have to work as a coach because they're gonna have a feedback and a panel where the athlete's gonna score you and say, hey, you was a good coach or you was a bad coach. So don't bring him next year or don't bring her next year. And bring this person next year because they did a fantastic job. Yeah. I think that's the way, it could like help to address that. Yeah.
Okay. So the last two questions from the family. One is asking, would you put yourself up for being on the executive for J3?
Absolutely, I would. Yeah. Okay. And if I do something like that, to be honest, it'd have to be just my heart for the sport. I don't want to do it for no monetary gain. Like, I just love the sport at track and field because you know what? I've been running track and field, so I'm in 7. Track and field took away all my summers, Like every summer it was something else. I forgot to track because I make a team every summer. Like I just name a World Championship. I don't get one summer for myself. Like to be honest, I may share this with you guys right now. After I retired and the first summer came up, it feel weird. It was like, I'm not gonna weird. Like, but now I'm not look forward to go like after trials. Usually like, okay, all right, in 2 weeks while I leave. That feeling and the anxiety there was gone. It was there no more. So I was like, it's just as it's a summer now. We're supposed to just chill, relax. It felt weird the first year. No, I got used to it, but the first year never making a team because I made team for like over 10, 11, 12 years, 13 years straight. First summer I know it felt weird. So like I feel like I dedicate almost my whole life to the sport. Yeah, I feel
Right.
like I dedicate my whole life to sports. So yeah, I would love to do it.
I'll give you the last statement to say. What would be your encouragement to in upcoming juniors coming over, transitioning to seniors, and also to seniors now? What would your encouragement be? If you could say one thing to them, what would that be?
You know what? There's gonna be a lot of up and down and a lot of bumps in the road. So I'll stay resilient. You know, like there's gonna be a lot of bumps in the road. Cause I remember when I was coming up as a junior, I didn't win every race, but my passion though and my heart kept me in it. You know. Yeah, I get beat up a lot, and then I was like, then you know what? Then you never know the next race. The same people beat me, I beat them. You know, so you have to have some kind of resilience and stay. Don't let go. Don't so quick to give up. So stay and work hard. And you know what that come with. That come with working hard, training hard, listen to your coach, listen to yourself, do your studying for the sport. Nowadays, I tell my athletes, they ask me, I say, you guys have YouTube and social media. You guys need to learn to study the history of the sport. Look at all the past athletes, them with the good in your event, and try to take something from everyone. Like I could say about the 100 meters, study Usain Bolt, a Maurice Green, a Carl Lewis. All of them had something that make them great. What make Carl Lewis great? Carl Lewis to me are the best, one of the best end of the race, one of the best stand-up mechanics. What had Safa Powell versus Safa Powell had one of the best start. So you could take something from his start. And Usain Bolt, what did he have? Usain Bolt had the best top end speed. Take something from each person and apply it to your race and apply it to your training and yourself and make yourself better. So study your history of your sport, man. Study it.
Right. Okay, great. So we here at Track and Field Talk Net would like to say thank you so much for coming over and being a part of our family and engraving yourself. We think you fit very well in our family. I can say that for all of us here, right, Kino? He
Yeah,
fits
man.
very well because
Right,
he
very
speaks
much.
your language.
Uh,
He speaks you guys'
we can,
language
we
very
can,
well. And
um,
so I want to say
yes,
thank you so much for being
You're
a part of our
welcome.
family and
Fortish
joining
and
us. And
Rabalak.
Yes.
and we hope to have you again when needs be and when the needs
Absolutely.
arise. And we are happy that we definitely got the opportunity to have the conversation with you and to just speak about track and field, the world of track and field and what it takes and what it embodies in everything, not just track thereabout, but
Yes.
also what everything embodies, the holistic part of it. So thank you
Yes.
so much for joining us. And
You're
thank you so
welcome.
much, my family here at Track and Field Totnet, for being here with us and continue to be here with us as we grow from strength to strength. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to you, wherever it is that you joined us from. We are happy that you were able to join us tonight. Please remember to look out because definitely you don't know who it will be next time, being right here in Track and Field Totnet family. We will be definitely having everyone across the globe here in Jamaica, out of Jamaica, a part of our family. Thank you so much. Good night to you all. We enjoy having you. Thank you.